Starting with that third quarter, what was the biggest change you guys felt, whether from your end or theirs?
We've just been bad third quarters. Last couple of years for sure, but I think ever since I've been here, we've had a problem with third quarters. So just got to figure out a way to, come out with a little more energy. JJ is the first thing JJ talked about after was just figuring out a way to be better in the third quarter, and that's on us players. That's not on the coaches. They come in here and give us what we need to. They give us the answers to the test. My fault, and we just didn't go out and execute. So that's on us, and we have to be better.
Traditionally in a season, players are in and out and teams have to adjust, but you guys entered this season missing such a big piece in LeBron. How focused on the smaller fixes can you guys all have to be while kind of understanding that things are gonna this team is gonna really change again here pretty soon at some point?
Yeah, I mean, my fault. I think when the goal is to win, it doesn't really, it roles and situations change, but at the end of the day, you've got to do what you think's best to help the team win. And I feel like that's what we did tonight. We came up short, but obviously when you're missing a guy like Brian, you're not going to fill that with one person. You have to try to fill that. I need to do something a little better. Luka needs to do something a little better. Rui's got to pitch in a little more. You can't, like I said, you can't do what he does with one person. If I was LeBron James, I probably would have retired by now. But, he's one of the greatest players to ever touch a basketball. So you had to do it as a collective group.
You guys have had spurts in the preseason and even tonight where you look like a team that you have been trying to come together as, and the kind of the group that you want to look at. What does it take to turn that into longer stretches, and so you're, winning 36 out of 48 minutes, whatever, and putting it together?
I think it's time. We haven't had a lot of time together as a complete group. Obviously, we're still not complete, but we're just going to continue to build and get better and learn how to play alongside one another. I mean, I had 5 turnovers tonight, and I don't think a couple of them were just dumb, but a couple of them were just miscommunications on where I needed to throw a pass to DA. It wasn't the wrong read; it was the wrong pass at the right time, basically. So it's just learning those little things, and you learn those on the fly. You think about all the good teams that's in NBA history. All those teams kind of played together as a core for a long time and know how to play alongside one another. You look at them over there, Steph knows, or Draymond knows exactly where Steph wants it, vice versa. So just getting those reps together.
When you look at this game, obviously JJ mentioned the 3 quarters, but are you feeling? Do you think about the turnovers? Is it the slow 3-point shooting, the free throws? What's the thing that gnaws at you most?
All of it.
Are those the 3 big ones?
What'd you say?
turnovers, and threes.
Yeah, if we do better in all those, we'll have a better chance of it. And I led the group tonight in turnovers, so point the finger at me.
JJ was mentioning how when it comes to defense communication, a lot of that's falls on you right now. It's a team thing, but from where you were on the back line, where you feel like the team could kind of learn from this game tonight.
They're just staying together. I feel like we responded pretty well on my communication out there, but obviously some execution and closing possessions on the defensive end. We got a little discombobulated, but I walked in here saying it was on me on some possessions where I felt like I should have talked more, or probably even blitz early, just doing my natural deeds on the defensive end. But I feel like my guards really did a good job on just communicating and trusting me back there while I was trying to call out them coverages.
Yeah, to that third point, how did they get away with you guys?
Yeah, they came out like they normally do. They're a great third quarter team. JJ warned us and told us be ready, and they came out shooting the lights out, and that's what got their momentum and kind of put us on our heels a little bit, and they start coming downhill, attacking us to the rim and drawing fouls.
AR was speaking about his frustration in himself with turning the ball over, and sometimes he felt like he was making the right read and just maybe not throwing the right pass. And as you guys all try to come together and get on the same page, how do you support one another through like kind of the things that don't look so smooth early on?
Today I was realizing like I'm probably a confusing big, whether I can roll and stay in the pocket, gets probably a little difficult for them sometimes. I'm so used to, the league having that low man on me, sometimes I can't even finish a roll and, a tiny bit linger around the free throw area just to be available for him. And, there's times where I can finish my roll and, it's just, we got to play some more and, play against some more great teams like how we did tonight to really see what's the common coverages of these teams, really trying to put us on their personnel, what they got on us.
Are those things, DeAndre, that just will take time as a unit and as a group? Most
definitely, and I'm excited about all of that because at the same time, I feel like our defense and all, I'm seeing guys step up, play a lot of defense and, get stops, and it's an emotional game, but today we still stuck together and we didn't break, and I like that we kept togetherness as the focal point.
Hey, Rui, what stood out the most to you on the court, just about the way the team was playing, kind of first real run-through against an experienced team in Golden State that's pretty fluid together? Where do you guys need to get things cleaned up on both ends?
As you guys know that we, this is, we just started. This is probably like second game we actually played together, everybody. So, we still trying to figure out our rhythm, everybody we should kind of get to know kind of thing, we had a lot of practices, but, we had also in the game, somebody was out, somebody's in. So, especially against the Golden State, they've been playing together for probably 4 or 5 years together, so I think that was the difference, Other than that, I think we did a lot of things that we're supposed to do, and yeah, it's a process, we're gonna be better.
This might be along those same lines, but what can get better in the third quarters? And I guess not just preseason, but back to last year as well.
I mean, yeah, we talk about it's been like this probably since I got here too. It's something that we have been problem with. The third quarter. Yeah, I think it's a mind thing. We got locked in. As a team, we have to be ready to play basketball from the start. Third quarter. It's just. I think as a team we have to lock in. We might have to meet. As with the players and then kind of talk before the game or something like that. I mean, before the third quarter or something. So and then we can figure it out.
Rui, what did you make of Luka's night, and how can you guys kind of, obviously he had huge numbers, but how can you guys find pockets to create offense for yourself around him and Austin?
Yeah, he was being really aggressive today. I think with him, he get a lot of attention. So as you guys saw, I had a lot of wide open threes from him, especially. So yeah, those gonna be the season. We're gonna have they're gonna guard whatever takes. They're gonna do whatever to take to guard him. So we have to be ready. Especially us. Me, Gabe, Vando. Those guys. We always have to be ready to shoot, to make a decision. So yeah, that's gonna be very important for us.
To follow up on that. Is it more than just catch and shoot though? I mean, like.
Catch and shoot is gonna be a lot, but also, you guys saw last year. I had a back cut too, those, cutting to the rim, those kind of stuff coming. You just can't do it right away. Have to kind of figure out the space first. We have a DA, in the paint right now sitting, so it's a little different than like before. So I gotta figure out, what's the timing, this and that. So yeah, we're gonna figure it out,
I know you guys aren't here for moral victories, but when you cut it from 16-6 in the fourth quarter, does that show something to the group that, like, hey, we're going to figure this out no matter what, and even when it looks like pretty bleak, that there's not going to be quitting us?
Yeah, the start of the third quarter, the Warriors, they pushed us, they made a run. And then we made a run too, but we kind of relaxed. we had an easy three. Buddy Hill made like a couple, easy threes. We could have kind of avoided that. So those kind of stuff we have to kind of keep building. Once we locked in, we got to keep that. Especially the third quarter, fourth quarter. Those 1-2 positions going to be very important. So yeah, we're just gonna keep building it and just focus on those kind of stuff.
Hey, Rui, this is not just for you individually, just the team. Like the Lakers have been pretty good at defending without fouling over the years. What do you feel after being out there tonight was the challenge in defending the Warriors without fouling, specifically Jimmy getting to the line 16 times?
Yeah, I mean, we talk about before the game, we want to be physical, and then we said during the game too, Jimmy gonna try to look for the foul. He not really trying to score. So we knew it, but it's just hard for him. He knows exactly the angles and how those the defenders' arms, what positions. So it's hard to guard him. But we gotta be be careful with that. But yeah, it's those kind of stuff. Some nights it's like that. So we gotta watch film. And as a team, we have to lock in.
Rui, I think Luka was 13 for 14 in the paint. Just what have you noticed from him kind of relative to last year as he's gotten in this kind of condition, and how does that play out on the court for you when you watch him?
Yeah, I think for tonight, especially against the Warriors, they're a small team. We talk about the paint's going to be almost open, no shot blocker almost. So we talk about that. So yeah, he was trying to see that. The pains, and then once they swallow, then we have to, something like me, I have to be ready for the, the shots and the stuff. So yeah, he did what exactly we're supposed to do.
お疲れ様です。今日スリーは3本決めてましたけれども、なんかオフェンスに絡めてない時間帯っていうのがあったんですけれども、あれはディフェンスの守り方とかそういったことでディフェンスを引きつけてるってことで仕方ないところなのか、それとももっとなんか絡めてない時間帯に自分でできることがなんかあったと思いますか？
そうですね、リーグでもずっとやってきてる中で相手のチームからもそういうこっちの単語でいうレーザーって言われてて、シュートを打たせられないようにスリーポイントが得意な選手だって言われているので、そういうところで相手はそれを見てやってたんじゃないかなと思うので、そこが僕がボール持ってなかった時が大きかった理由じゃないかなと思います。
あとそのボールを持つ機会だとかシュートを打つ機会こそ少なかったんですけれども、キーとなるポイントでしっかり決めたことに関してはどのように思っていらっしゃいますか？
そうですね、僕はそういうのが得意な部分があるので、そこは自分でもいつも意識してますし、そういう流れを変えれるようなそういうシュートを決めたりとかプレーができるようにいつも心がけてます。
すみません、お疲れ様でした。チーム全体としてはやはり3クォーターの入りの序盤の方だったと思うんですけど、ああいう苦しい場面で改めてご自身、コートにいるときいないときでもチームの中での役割だったりとか、改めてこのシーズンどういうふうに向き合っていきたいなと思われますか？
そうですね、そういう流れを変える、僕がそういうオフェンスでもディフェンスでもプレーをしてできるってことが大事だと思うので、そこがチームのいつも言われている X ファクターのあれだと思うので、自分でもしっかりとそれを意識してやっていきたいなと思います。
Luka, what did you feel like was the biggest difference in the game, or where did you think it turned?
Honestly, I would say that third quarter, the start. I think we had these problems last year too. So I think that was the most of the problem. It was a close game. We were down 1 at halftime, but then just start of third quarter, they went on a run.
You were 13 for 14 in the paint, and just wondered, was it the way that they were playing, their size? Did you notice something to keep getting in there and being that efficient? And then, how did you feel like that came about?
Yeah, I mean, just attack the paint, and then I think when I attack the paint, it happens better things for my teammates. Sometimes they're gonna help, sometimes no. So I just gotta attack even more the paint and then reach from there.
How would you characterize your level of comfort, not just you, but kind of as a group right now, considering the amount of guys going in and out, and obviously starting off training camp, find out you're not going to have LeBron. What's the comfort level with this group as of one game in?
I mean, obviously we have 81 games to go, but obviously we want to win every game. My comfort level is good. I think there was a lot of positive things tonight. Obviously, a lot of things that we need to work on. Like I said, especially third quarter, we got to figure it out. But my comfort level is fine.
Luka, your performance obviously a positive. I'm just wondering, the Warriors are a team that run you around a lot. What did you actually feel out there as the difference, considering all the conditioning that you did over the summer?
Probably just more attacking the paint. I think I'm getting better on defensive end, just trying to be more involved, more communication. But overall, 41 minutes, so I like that.
Yeah, I mean, do you feel it though? Do you feel it when you're out there?
Yeah, I feel it. Like I say, less tiring, better shape. So just trying to get a win. And then what's next?
Luka, two for you. In the fourth quarter, we saw you kind of reaching at the inside of your leg. Is everything good with your groin or?
Yeah, it's probably nothing. You just felt a little bit because my hip went that way. I just felt a little bit, but probably nothing.
And there's going to be obviously a learning curve in terms of continuity and figuring out how to play with the new pick and roll partner in DeAndre. Is there anything that can speed that process up, or is it just play and learn and try it again the next time?
I mean, I don't really know, but I think I have to get a better job. I mean, I have to do a better job, just talking to him, like what I want, what he wants. And I mean, today was on me, not giving him enough touches, probably. So that was on me today. I got to help him out.
Luka, follow up on that. DeAndre was saying he thinks he's kind of a little bit confusing as a big. Sometimes he doesn't finish his role or something like that. Like, what have you learned just about him as a player in your time together so far?
Yeah, I think he prefers that pocket pass. I didn't play with. I don't think with a center like that. I think he prefers the pocket. So, like I said before, we need to talk about it, and then we need to get him more touches.
Luka, obviamente hay muchas cosas que mejorar, pero ¿con qué buenos hábitos te quedas hoy del equipo? ¿Qué te gustó hoy del equipo?
Creo que no estuvimos mal en defensa. Han metido muchos tiros. Había algunas cosas que no hemos hablado en la cancha, pero había cosas buenas, pero también había malas. Ese tercer cuarto hay que mejorar mucho.
Luka, JJ Redick habló de eso precisamente, que este equipo no aprendió de la temporada pasada de mejorar en el tercer cuarto, y quizás hablaste también un poco de ser más vocal en la cancha, especialmente con los jugadores nuevos como DeAndre, ¿no?
Sí, como hablaba JJ, creo que tenemos que mejorar mucho este tercer cuarto. Hay jugadores nuevos como DeAndre, pero hay 3, 4, 5 nuevos, así que tenemos que averiguar como equipo cómo mejorar en este momento.
Hey, Luka, your defensive effort, like we saw you trying to guard multiple guys. Like there was a time where you were guarding Steph, forced him to take a tough shot. Then you see Jimmy, and that was a different kind of matchup. Like when it's late in the game, how do you balance between being physical and getting stops and just trying to defend without fouling?
I mean, you got to try and be physical, Obviously, if they're in bonus, it's a little bit harder. But at the end, you got to get a stop. That's what's going to win you the game.
Thanks, Luka.
Thank you.
What did you see in the third quarter to kind of start things when Golden State made a little bit of a push? And did you feel like that was a pivotal part of it, or did you think it was more of an overall trend for the game?
The trend I see is that we continue to be a terrible third quarter team to start. That was last year. That was the preseason. Got to rethink some things, and it's a two-way thing with the guys. What do they need at halftime to make sure they're ready to play? They're not ready to play to start the third quarter.
JJ, pregame you mentioned discipline as something that needs to be there, specifically when it came to playing their post splits. Just overall, in a macro sense, how would you assess the team's discipline tonight?
Pretty good, actually. Outside of a few buckets there in the third quarter, pretty good.
JJ, Luka's workload was so heavy. How do you try to get other guys to get more involved and help out with what you guys have going on out there?
Every game is different. I'm not concerned about that.
JJ, you you talked about when it comes defensively about the level of connection and effort it's going to take from everybody. Where's the connection on the offensive end right now, and how much of sort of this being the early stages would you attribute the turnovers to, and guys just maybe not being in the right places or the places people expect?
Yeah, I think that's more it. You know, again, trying to throw a lob pass, fit in a lob pass to DA, and it ends up being a turnover. I think that's going to happen to any team, to any two-man partnership, whether you've got continuity. That happens sometimes. I think it's mostly self-inflicted, and I think if you look at this game, like a microcosm of this game was we did enough good things to put ourselves in a position to win for most of the game, and that when we didn't do those things, they were self-inflicted.
You touched on it.
They were self-inflicted. So that's not being organized in early offense. That's having the wrong guy bring it up. That's we knew they were blitzing and stack. That's supposed to be stack 2. Guy stays. Now there's no outlet for the passer. Those are not sprinting back. We make a run. We got 2 guys back. Buddy Hield gets a wide open 3 for some reason on a full court pass. Those are self-inflicted things. So that's not anything Golden State did to us.
The pregame you mentioned kind of how the team has gone through this whole process without LeBron. Like camp has been without LeBron. You're going to solve these problems in the immediacy with the issues that are happening with this roster. At some point, you're going to get another huge piece back. Do you allow yourself any brain power thinking about how LeBron fits in with what this group is now, or can you not afford to do that?
It's hard to forget about LeBron. The reality is when you're focused on the group that you have, you got to make that group work. So it's sometimes you can just be like, oh my God, we're going to get LeBron back at some point. Like it's awesome, but you are focused. I'll be honest with you. I did have one moment in that first half when we had a few possessions we couldn't score against the zone. I'd be like, it'd be great to have LeBron just to throw it to at the high post.
Just sort of look on that 40,000 points.
Yeah.
Can you kind of split the self-inflicted wounds that come from just we have better habits than this, we know how to play, versus these are the growing pains of some of the new pieces coming together and understanding the intricacies of the offense and understanding players' tendencies and what guys like, where they're going to be?
Sure. Yeah, I think there's a little bit of that. I think that, to me, that shows up more on defense. When, I said pregame, you got to be really disciplined. It's like the times, to Kobe's question, the times you make your own thing up. Steph Curry gets a back cut for a layup. Gary Payton slips and gets a dunk. We don't read a small pick and roll, and I wasn't on the floor. I don't know what the call is, and Jimmy turns the corner, they get a layup. So there's going to be growing pains with that, I think, early in the season, and hopefully it's not long. But it's more organization than it is like knowing guys' tendencies. I think that's where the offense struggles.
JJ, LeBron was so important for you guys, like defensively last year, just calling out plays, sort of quarterbacking things. Who's stepping into that role, or at least I don't know if it's just you and Greg yelling all the time, or is it like who was on the court in that role?
Yeah, no, I think Da and Marcus have done a really nice job. Gabe, I know Luka and AR are being more vocal as well. But I would say right now it's Da, Marcus, Da, Marcus, and Gabe.
With the following questions that when LeBron's not there, how do you utilize Rui and this team and this play?
So ask it again. I'm sorry.
How do you use Rui Hachimura utilizing it when LeBron's not in the team? How do you use him? What kind of plan do you have for Rui?
Same plan as always. Yeah, we're not going to ask a guy to change their role because someone's out of the lineup. He's got to stick to doing what he does best.